I'll get you a hot drink, miss.
Nice and dry, please.
Imagine watching your favorite show and suddenly getting bombarded with a weird and cryptic message that you don't understand or creeps you out. As technology continues to advance, it has become harder and harder for rogue individuals to take over television airwaves to get their message across. This is a list of some of the oddest television broadcast hijackings ever, and as you will see, a lot of the major ones are from the 1980s. You'll find a little of everything on this list of weird TV events, ranging from deranged madmen to supposed alien broadcasts, explicit content during the Super Bowl, and men who just think the cable bill is too high. Television broadcast hijacking must be an incredibly scary thing for the audience. Max Headroom Incident, 1987. This is perhaps the most famous TV hijacking in history. During a broadcast of a Chicago-based station, the signal was hijacked by a person wearing a Max Headroom mask. The hijacker proceeded to rant and rave for several minutes before the broadcast was interrupted. The Max Headroom incident refers to a bizarre and highly publicized incident that occurred on November 22, 1987, in which an unknown person or group hijacked the television signals of two Chicago-based television stations, WGN-TV and WTTW. During the hijacking, the perpetrator or perpetrators interrupted the regular programming and broadcasted a creepy and surreal video featuring a person wearing a Max Headroom mask. The incident began during the sports segment of the WGN-TV 9 p.m. news broadcast, when the screen suddenly went black for a few seconds. It was then replaced by a person wearing a Max Headroom mask and sunglasses, who was standing in front of a swaying, corrugated metal background. The figure appeared to be mimicking the character's stuttering speech and made nonsensical comments about the television show and the news anchor. The hijacking lasted for approximately 30 seconds before the broadcast cut back to the regular program. Later that same night, during an episode of Doctor Who on WTTW, the hijacking occurred again, this time lasting for nearly 90 seconds. The Max Headroom impersonator repeated much of the same dialogue, but also added new, more disturbing elements to the broadcast. The identity of the perpetrator or perpetrators remains unknown to this day, and the incident has become a legendary example of broadcast signal intrusion and hacking. The FCC launched an investigation into the incident, but was never able to identify the person or group responsible. Southern Television Broadcast Interruption, 1977. During a broadcast of the UK Southern Television, the signal was interrupted by a voice claiming to be from an intergalactic association. The voice proceeded to deliver a message to the people of Earth before the broadcast was abruptly cut off. The Southern Television Broadcast Interruption, also known as Alien Broadcast or the Vrillon Message, occurred on November 26, 1977, during a live broadcast of the local ITV station, Southern Television in the United Kingdom. During the broadcast, which was a news bulletin about the day's events, the screen was suddenly taken over by a distorted voice claiming to be an extraterrestrial entity named Vrillon from the Ashstar Galactic Command. The voice delivered a message of peace and warned of the dangers of nuclear weapons. The incident caused sensation at the time and has since become a well-known example of a broadcast interruption or pirate broadcast. While some people believe the interruption was a work of genuine extraterrestrial beings, it is widely believed to have been a hoax perpetrated by a member of the public using their equipment. Despite numerous investigations, the identity of the person responsible for the interruption has never been confirmed. Captain Midnight Broadcast Signal Intrusion, 1986. During a broadcast on HBO, the signal was interrupted by a man who called himself Captain Midnight. The hijacker was a disgruntled satellite technician who was protesting the high cost of satellite TV. He was eventually caught and fined. The Captain Midnight Broadcast Signal Intrusion occurred on April 27, 1986. During the broadcast of an HBO satellite transmission of the film The Falcon and the Snowman, a person identifying himself as Captain Midnight used a powerful transmitter to override the HBO signal, broadcasting his message for approximately 4.5 minutes. During the intrusion, Captain Midnight displayed a message on the screen that read, "Good evening, HBO, from Captain Midnight. $12.95 a month? No way. Showtime movie channel beware." The message was a protest against the high cost of HBO's premium cable service, which was $12.95 per month at the time. The intrusion was traced to a satellite transmission station in Florida, and an investigation was launched by the Federal Communications Commission, FCC. The perpetrator was eventually identified as John R. McDougal, a satellite dish dealer who was upset with the high cost of HBO's service. McDougal was fined $5,000 and sentenced to 1 year of probation for the intrusion. The incident prompted the FCC to increase security measures to prevent similar intrusions in the future. WGN-TV Chicago hack, 1987. During a broadcast of WGN-TV, the signal was hijacked by a person who claimed to be a member of a group called the Chicago Cat. The hijacker proceeded to make bizarre statements and display strange images before the broadcast was interrupted. The WGN-TV Chicago hack of 1987, also known as Max Headroom incident, was a broadcast signal intrusion that occurred on the evening of November 22, 1987. During the intrusion, the broadcast of a WGN-TV 9 p.m. news report was interrupted for about 25 seconds by a video of an unknown individual wearing a Max Headroom mask and sunglasses. The individual made bizarre and nonsensical statements, including references to the television show Clutch Cargo and the song Your Love by The Outfield. The WGN-TV hack was not an isolated incident. The same individual or group of individuals responsible for the WGN-TV intrusion also hijacked the signal of a local PBS affiliate, WTTW, later that same evening. During the WTTW intrusion, the Max Headroom impersonator appeared on screen again, this time for a longer period, and engaged in more bizarre behavior, such as spanking himself with a fly swatter. The WGN-TV hack was a significant event in the history of broadcast signal intrusion and sparked a renewed interest in the subject. It also highlighted the vulnerability of broadcast systems to unauthorized access and the potential for malicious actors to disrupt programming. Despite the efforts of law enforcement and broadcast professionals, the identity of the individual or group responsible for the WGN-TV hack remains unknown. The case remains open, but it is unlikely that the perpetrator will ever be identified or apprehended. The incident gained widespread attention and has since become a popular subject of discussion among fans of hacker culture and mysteries. Despite extensive investigations by the Federal Communications Commission, FCC, and other authorities, the identity of the intruder has never been conclusively determined. The incident remains one of the most famous cases of broadcast signal intrusion in history. These incidents were disturbing because they caused widespread panic and confusion among viewers. They also raised serious concerns about the vulnerability of broadcast signals to unauthorized access.